Hello, guys, and welcome back to our third and final talk for today's Supplemental Healthy Hair Summit. So, I am Scarlett. I am the creator of Wonder Curl and the Healthy Hair Summit. The goal of the summit is to provide you with the facts based around your hair, and our culture. It is the only online event of its kind to teach you everything you need to know to grow your healthiest hair ever. And the Healthier Summit is brought to you by Wonder Curl. Wonder Curl was created out of personal need for natural hair products that simply did what they said, used quality ingredients, and improved on the health of the hair. We are a Black-owned vegan hair care product line that uses natural ingredients known for their nourishing and medicinal properties. Curls and kinks are hydrated for days without the frizz or crunch. And we offer online education through one-on-one consults and virtual hair summits. Healthy hair is good hair, and we give you all the tools to grow that healthy hair. And also, I just want to thank Creatively Natural for my t-shirt that says good hair. And his hair grows naturally from one's head. So anybody ask you? So if you love this t-shirt, you can go to creativelynatural.com and grab one. Oh, and I forgot to mention in the other talks that we do have perks. Okay, so if you go to summit.healthyhairsummit.com, you will be able to see the perks, and you can get 10% off your good hair t-shirt. And so now we have Yessenia, and I'm going to say it again. I love your name. I say it all the time. I just like saying it, Yessenia. It just sounds so fancy. Anyway, well, Yessenia, her enthusiasm for hair began 20 years ago. Then I don't believe it. She worked in a barber shop as a natural hairstylist for 7 years and learned about precision haircutting at To Do Salon. She later trained at Hair Rule Salon in New York for 5 years before heading to Foster Glorioso, where she is now an independent texturologist, a term she coined in 2017 as a way to differentiate her profession in the hair industry. Not only is she an educator, precision curly cut expert, hair care specialist, but she is also an advocate for self-empowerment through the education of curly hair. Yessenia has helped thousands of women learn to love their hair. And we love your hair.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, that sounds so fancy when you read it out like that.
That's me?
Yeah.
I know that. That's you, girl.
Wow. So, yes, thank you for having me. Thank you so much. And also, I love your shirt. I'm definitely going to get one of those shirts.
Thank you.
So
yes.
cute. So, yes. So, today we're going to be talking about how to get and keep moisture in your hair. And this is like a big thing, moisture, and how to get it, how to keep it, especially around this time of the year where your hair is drier. So I'm just going to, just kind of give like some really simple, super simple tips on what you can do to achieve more moisture in your hair and how to keep it. So the number one thing that is the most important thing is your wash day. It is so important. So your wash day should consist of cleansing, hydrating, and locking in the moisture. So cleansing, I feel like is a little tricky for some people because there's so many different types of cleansers now. There's like, the lather shampoos, then there's the no poos. So it's super important to make sure that you're using a cleanser that makes sense for your hair. So you want to use a cleanser if you feel like your hair has a lot of buildup, you want to make sure you're removing that buildup. So you would want to use a cleanser with a lather to remove that buildup. And then there's so many different types of lather shampoos. So you want to make sure you're using something that's gentle, that is going to remove the buildup, but not leave your hair stripped and dried out. And then you have some women or men that have that need to cleanse their hair, but maybe it doesn't have to be such a deep cleanse. Maybe they can use like a no lather shampoo. So depending on what your hair needs, you would want to use that type of cleanser.
Right.
Yeah, so important because the cleansing removes the buildup so that when you do the conditioning part, which I also like to call the hydrating part, then the conditioner is effective and your hair is receiving
Mhm.
that moisture. So if you don't remove the buildup, then the hair is not going to receive the moisture properly. So cleansing is so important, and make sure that you're rinsing, because I think sometimes we rush the process and we're not rinsing thoroughly. And if you don't rinse really well, then it's still not really, you're still not removing all the buildup. And then sometimes some of that shampoo might stay on the hair, which
Right.
doesn't help. And then that will actually cause your hair to feel drier. So make sure you're rinsing really, really well. And
Yeah.
then the next part is the hydration part, which is your conditioning. That is so important. So this is the part where your hair will get the moisture that you're looking for. So you want to make sure that you're taking your time when you're conditioning. You want to make sure that you're using a conditioner that actually performs well on your hair. And when I say that, I mean you're looking for something that's going to give you slip, something that's
Mhm.
really allowing your hair to absorb the moisture. And I feel like sometimes we might not really know what that is, right? So what I
Right.
tell people is what you can do is you can do kind of like a little experiment test. So like if you have two conditioners, right? Like on one side, put one conditioner, and then on the other side, you can put the other conditioner, and make sure you're adding water, conditioner water, and then you'll see and feel which one feels better, and whichever one leaves your hair feeling softer, more hydrated, with more slip, then that's the one that you want to keep using.
Real quick,
Yeah.
you're saying hydration. Can you explain? Because we sometimes use hydration and moisture interchangeably, but they are two different things.
Yes. So moisture is water. So that's what your hair needs, the water. It needs moisture. So you want to make sure that like the conditioner, it's receiving the moisture, which is water. And then hydration is what, like, your hair is drinking the water. So your
Right.
hair is taking in the moisture that you're trying to put in it. So moisture is water and hydration is your hair. It's like your hair is drinking that water.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then we're thinking about like a product that's moisturizing, right? Is that something that's like that's gonna like sit on top of the hair to hold that hydration in?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. But even with moisturizing products, like you still, even though it says moisturizing, you still want to make sure that you prep your hair properly before you even put a moisturizing product. So, like with moisturizing products, I think they're great and I think they're helpful. But let's say if your hair is dry and you put a moisturizing product, you have to keep in mind that that's just a very temporary fix. You still want to make sure that you're washing your hair either that night or the next day if your hair feels dry. You're just using the moisturizing product just, like that day because maybe you don't have time to really do the whole wash day routine. So that's like a temporary fix. It helps, but the true way to really get your hair hydrated is through the conditioning process, through the
Got
whole
it.
wash day routine.
Right. No, and it completely it makes so much sense when you said hydration and conditioner because we rinse the conditioner off, but the work that the conditioner did in our strands kind
Yeah,
of like stays, and that's why your hair stays feeling softer.
exactly. Because it pushes that moisture into the hair. That's why it's also important to take your time when you're conditioning and don't rush the process and make sure you're adding water, conditioner, water conditioner, because as you're adding water, your hair is absorbing that water and it's getting more hydrated. And as your hair gets more hydrated, it's getting softer. Your curls are getting more defined. It'll be easier to detangle. So if you're rushing the conditioning process, then you're not allowing your hair to absorb maximum moisture. So definitely take your time. And as you keep doing that, you'll just begin to notice that your hair, it's absorbing. You'll begin to notice that your hair is retaining the moisture and it doesn't get as dried out so quickly. And you'll also notice that for the next wash day, it's happening. The whole process is happening a little faster because your hair is not so dried out because it's holding on to more moisture.
Yes. So Meraki asks, I had can you moisture train natural hair? And it almost sounds like that's what you're kind of doing.
Yeah, so I don't really like using the word train too much, but it's kind of like training, but really it's just because if you train it, right, it's not like
it's gonna remember like a dog.
Exactly. So it's like you just have to keep doing it, you know.
Yeah. I think it's less training your hair, but training yourself.
Exactly. Yes. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's training yourself to do it consistently.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's like you can have moisture in your hair, but once you stop doing that, it's not like the hair is going to remember it. It's going to lose all that moisture. And you're going to have to do the process every time you wash your hair, every time you cleanse your hair.
Exactly. Right? The goal should be to never let your hair get dried out. Because once it gets dried out, it's kind of like you have to start all over again. So that's why it's important to like kind of pay attention to your hair. Everybody's wash day regimen might be different. Some people might have to do their wash day regimen every 3 days. Some might have to do it every 5 days. Some can do it every 7 days. It's different for everyone, but really pay attention to your hair and pay attention to when it tends to feel a little extra drier. And when that happens, that just means, okay, let me just wash my hair. You don't want to wait until it feels super dried out, because then now it's going to take longer. It's going to take more work. It's going to take a lot more product. So you want to make sure you're getting that hair before it gets to that point.
Right. Okay. So now that we have conditioned our hair, what else do we need to do, like for the styling?
Yes. So after you condition your hair and your hair is super hydrated and moisturized, then you want to lock in the moisture. You want to seal that in. And you want to do that with using a leave-in conditioner. So there are many different types of leave-in conditioners. Depending on your curl type, you would want to make sure you're using a leave-in conditioner for that curl type. So for example, if you have like a wavy or looser curl, maybe you can go for like a lighter leave-in conditioner, not anything too heavy because then it's going to weigh your hair down. And then maybe for like coilier, kinkier curl type, they might want to use a creamy, heavier leave-in to really seal in that moisture and really make sure the moisture is not leaving the hair. So I would make sure to do that. And you want to make sure that when you're applying the leave-in conditioner, the hair is dripping wet. Because if you towel blot, you're removing the moisture. And you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure you're always applying the leave-in conditioner while the hair is dripping wet. So as soon as you rinse out the conditioner, you're not gonna wait a few minutes, because sometimes like you might move around the house, and you want to make sure you're doing everything at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then you'll just take your leave-in conditioner and just work it through. And sometimes I also like to add water even with the leave-in conditioner, and really just make sure that you're working it through really, really well. So important.
Yeah. And like you said with the conditioner, I find that we tend to rush through that process as well, that we're not taking the time to section the hair, apply water to the hair, and put the product on the hair. And I've had people ask me like, well, is there a lazy way to do this? And I'm like, no, no, boo boo.
I know we all want like the easy way. Like no, the easy way is just doing it consistently.
Yeah,
You just have to do it.
yeah.
That if you don't do it, then it's gonna take you longer when it's time to do it. One thing I would say also, back to the conditioner, especially now during this season, during the colder season, is deep conditioning. Deep conditioning is so important right now. So if you're not someone that usually deep conditions, I would start incorporating that into my routine right now because of the cold season. It tends to dry the hair out. So with the deep conditioner, you can apply it the same way you would apply your conditioner. Deep conditioner, water, detangle, and make sure your hair is really saturated with enough water and deep conditioner. And then you can do your sitting under the dryer or another good way to do your deep conditioners is you can use a bonnet, which is like an attachment to the blow
Right.
dryer. That's another great way for those that maybe don't have a hooded dryer at home. What else? They also have these heating caps. These heating caps that you can use too if you don't have a blow dryer. There's also like a really simple way too, like if you don't have any of those tools at home, just put a plastic cap and then you can put a warm towel over that plastic cap, and that also helps too. Let's say you don't have time and you're like, I just don't have time for all of this. While you're in the shower, put the deep conditioner in, detangle, clip it up, and then as you take a shower, just let it sit. Let it sit. While you're in the shower, the steam from the shower is helping it. It's helping to push that moisture in, and that also will help to give you a more effective deep conditioning that's like quick and easy. So that's also another thing too. So there's always a way to make it.
And I would also add like with the deep conditioning, like one thing that I've done is like I'll wear like my beret and I'll like go out, run a few errands, like I know it'll be like an hour, and then I'd come back and rinse my hair out. Then that was a way for me to save on time. So is a hair steamer good? Is steaming good for the hair? Like, would you recommend?
Yeah. Steaming is good. Steaming is good. If you have a steamer, I would definitely take advantage and use it because the steamer is kind of like creating a humid environment so that the hair can, and then with the heat, it helps to lift the cuticle and push and help to get that moisture into the hair. So
Yeah.
do feel like a steamer is helpful if you have one. I feel like, because sometimes people ask me like, which one is better? Is like a steamer better? Is a hooded dryer better? I feel like they're both great, like they both are great and they both have different uses. But if you have a hooded dryer, you can use that as well. Just make sure you have a plastic cap to keep that moisture in and then sit under the dryer.
Right. You sort of create like a little humid environment in your head. And that, yeah. And like, yeah, like it's like if you had to choose between one or the other, I would say get the hooded dryer first because you'll have multiple uses with that dryer. And then later on, you can go ahead and get a steamer if you feel like you need one. Um, and one thing that I noticed is like, how often do you recommend folks should be doing deep conditioning? If their hair is normal, it's not damaged, and it's in the, how often should or can you do it too much? Like, let's.
So I think it really all depends on what the hair needs and the hair type. So for someone, let's say with wavy, curly hair or a looser curl, probably like once every 2 weeks, maybe, but that just depends. It really depends on the hair. Maybe they have color. So maybe they would, if they have color, then they would need to do it once a week. But I would say like around once every 2 weeks. And then for the very curly, coily, and kinky hair types, I would say at least once a week right now, especially because the colder season, everybody's hair is drier. Everyone, like, this is when everyone that sits in my chair says, oh my gosh, my hair is so dry. I don't know what to do. So I would say for very curly, coily, or kinky, once a week for sure. That's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah. And I wanted to say, after we've talked on Instagram Live a few months ago, I started using more water in my hair. And I have noticed, I was like, my hair, like before, because my hair, like I've mentioned this before, it's like when I used to color it, my hair was high porosity. So I can get away with using just damp, like having my hair damp and then just applying product, and I would get like these perfect ringlets. But since I stopped coloring my hair, the true texture of my hair is low porosity right around here and medium porosity around here, because I could tell the way that it absorbs the product. It absorbs water differently. This section of my hair tends to dry out faster. And after talking to you, I was like, well, let me try using more water and less product. And it made a world of difference in my washing. World of difference. I was like, well, she was that's why I was like, I got to get her to talk about it. She knows her.
Different. I feel like that's the number one thing that a lot of people are doing wrong, is not conditioning properly, not adding enough water. Because they think like, okay, well, I'm using a conditioner, a deep conditioner, I'm just going to throw it on there. You have to add water. You have to.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, are there ingredients to avoid in your conditioner, such as silicones, or does it matter?
I wouldn't really say, honestly, when it comes to conditioners, you just really want to look for something that works well and performs well on your hair, because there's going to always be some kind of silicone or the cousin of the silicone that coats the hair, even oils that coats the hair. And if you have too many oils on the hair, then the moisture is not going to penetrate the hair. So you just really want to make sure you're looking for something that really performs well. And it's hard because sometimes it's like, okay, well, how do I find something that performs well? How do I know? Like, sometimes you have to buy sometimes you might have to buy 2 conditioners and just kind of see if that works well, test it out. It's tricky because I've tried so many conditioners, and maybe they have certain ingredients or it says something on the label, and I'm like, all right, well, let me see if it does what it says. And sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's trial and error.
Yeah. I would suggest, instead of looking for ingredients to avoid, the ingredients you should be looking for. Like I like in my deep conditioner to have penetrating oils.
Yes.
Like olive oil.
Yes. So important. One of my favorite oils are, well, 2 of them. I love argan oil. Argan oil is great. And then also baobab oil is really great too. Sometimes what I like to do is with the conditioner or the deep conditioner, so while the conditioner and deep conditioner are sitting in your hair, what I like to do is I'll use a little bit of oil and apply that over the conditioner or the deep conditioner and just like work it through. And then you can let it sit in your hair for a few minutes and then rinse it out. So that just helps to like seal in a little bit more moisture. And when you rinse it out, some of it is going to rinse, but some of it will stay on the hair strand. So I like doing that, especially like now during this year. And it's just a little bit of oil, not a lot.
Yeah, don't go crazy, guys.
Yeah, just a little bit. Always start at the ends. You don't want to put it up here because then it's all going to sit right here. So you really want to take that and apply it directly to the areas where it seems to be drier. Wherever a lot of the time we have different textures, like how you were saying, it's coarser here, it's looser here, or it's a tighter curl. So wherever you have like a coarser or tighter curl, that's where you would want to apply all your products first, whether it's your conditioner, your
Right.
leave-in. Always apply it there first, and then work it throughout the rest of the hair.
Yeah, we did the talk with Felicia Leatherwood, and she suggested like how we have different hair types and textures. She said work with the most difficult part of
Exactly.
the hair. Yeah.
Exactly. So important.
Yeah, because I'm like, I wish all my hair felt like this, which is like 3B and it's like super absorbent, but it's not. It's not how all my hair is. All my hair is mostly 3C and dense. And so I'm like, work with what you got, folks. Work with what you got.
Yeah, so important to do that. Like when I feel like also just being really intentional when you're doing your hair and when you're doing your wash day, like not just doing it just to like get it over with, like really pay attention to how it feels and how
Yeah.
it looks. So I would recommend maybe like doing this in the mirror when you're doing like your conditioning part and when you're applying your leave-in conditioner, because then you could really see what's happening,
Mhm.
Another experiment you could do is like, it's kind of similar to the other one that I mentioned earlier, but what you can do is like take that one conditioner that's your favorite conditioner and, apply it and then section it into two sections. And then on one side, keep adding water, work it through. On the other side, just do it your regular way. And then you'll begin to see like, oh, wow, the side that has more water in it and more conditioner is it's a little more, it looks more hydrated, the curls
Mhm.
are more defined, and then that'll help you to really see, okay, I understand now why I have to add more water, and it'll make more sense. So I would definitely make sure to do that.
Yeah. And each week try and play around because that's what it took me honestly a few months of trial and error. Let me try this, let me try that, till I finally figured out, okay, this is how I need to apply the products. This is how much water I need. This is how I need to sit under the dryer in order for my curls to be defined. But also, I think I like to think of moisture also as kind of like the glue that keeps your curls together. Because if your hair is dry, it's going to frizz. If
Yeah.
it's moisturized, it's going to stay clumped longer.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it'll also be more defined too,
right.
as well. So like I feel like I talk about moisture all the time and like it, but it's what is going to help your curls thrive, and it's what's going to help your curls feel softer and be healthier. The more moisturized your hair is, the less breakage you'll get.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you want to make sure you're getting trims too. That's important, but you'll notice less breakage. It won't get as tangled.
Mhm.
Also, going to bed at night, it's so important, like what your regimen is before bed. So sometimes like if you're using like a cotton pillowcase, that can actually remove the moisture. So you want to make sure that you're using either like a satin pillowcase, or make sure that you're using like a satin bonnet. Uh,
Mhm.
Also, now as we go into the colder season, hats. That is going to remove the moisture. Make sure that you're using a hat with like a satin lining to protect your hair. That's going to be really helpful because it's like such simple little things that you would never
Right.
think for trying your hair out. So definitely a satin line, or you could even do it yourself. You can maybe just get like a satin bonnet and put that on first, and then put your winter
Your
hat.
hat.
Yeah.
And I have one of these satin lined hats, and man, it keeps you hot. You will not get cold. You're gonna be
You're nice
taking
and
off your
warm.
coat. It holds the heat in. So
Yes.
We have a couple of questions. How can you retain moisture when you have braids with extensions?
Mm. Okay, so when you have braids with extensions, I think it's important, number one, to make sure that you leave the braids in for about like 3 to 4 weeks and no longer than that. That's the number one thing, right? It might still
Mhm.
look cute, but the thing is that that hair is drying your hair out, the extension hair. So what I would do is I would get like a little spray bottle and put some water with some conditioner, mix it up, and mist your hair with that a few times a week. And I would also wash my hair with the braids once a week. I know some people are like, no, I don't want to do that because it's going to mess up my braids. But you also have to keep in mind that you want to keep your hair healthy. So I
Yeah,
would make sure to wash it, like at least rinse and condition it, just to make sure your hair stays hydrated. So
yeah,
important.
yeah. I think when our hair is tucked away, we sort of forget about it
Yeah.
until it's time to take it out, and then we're like, "Oh, I
Yeah.
just undid all the work that I hoped to do."
Yeah, sometimes when because sometimes women put braids in and they put it with the intention of like, okay, well, this is a protective style, it's gonna keep my hair healthy. And then when they take it out, they find all this breakage, and it's because their hair got dried out, not only from not moisturizing it or pushing moisture in there, but it's also from neglecting the hair,
Mhm.
not really misting it with water throughout the week. And then also the extension hair fibers that's used,
Right.
that dries the hair out.
So, if someone is getting ready to do a protective style, what should they do to prepare their hair for
Mm, that's a good question. So you want to make sure that you're doing your wash day, deep condition, and then you're going to use a creamy leave-in conditioner to blow your hair out with. And you're gonna blow your hair out, and you're not trying to do like a blowout, a straight style blowout. You're just trying to get the hair stretched out, elongated, and you're trying to get it to a point where you can easily comb through it.
that?
And then once you've done that, then you can braid the hair. So when the hair is blown out, it acts differently and it doesn't get as tangled, and then it also is just healthier for the hair. So make sure you're always blowing it out. That's a big one because some women go with their hair curly to like a braid stylist and then they braid it.
Mm,
You don't want to do that. You want to make sure you're blowing it out. And if anything, you want to make sure it's more like on, maybe if anything, I would say it's better to make sure it's a little bit more on the oily side as opposed to it's blown out and it's like kind of dry.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that may like now that you say that, I remember one time I got my hair braided, she did blow it out, and I was like, maybe it's just easier for her to like get through it, but yeah.
It's so important. Hair prep is really important. And also, because I know a lot of women are doing braids right now because it's a colder season and it's just easier. When you take the braids out, I would make sure to condition it first and just get all that hair that just naturally sheds that is still in there. Condition and then detangle first to get that hair out, and then wash it and then recondition it.
Yeah. And I feel like some of us still aren't detangling our hair properly.
Yes, that's so true. It's crazy because sometimes I'm like, wow, like when I have like new clients and I'm explaining to them how to detangle, they're like, "Oh, wow, I didn't know." And I'm like, "Wow, it's true." Like some women still don't know. And it's okay, because like nobody,
Yeah.
like sometimes maybe you didn't have anyone to show you. So I like to use a wide tooth comb, but some people have their favorite type of tool to detangle. So whatever tool you're using, you want to make sure that you're starting at the ends and then you're working your way up. And you want to be gentle. You do not want to be aggressive.
Right.
You want to be gentle. And as you're detangling, if you're having a hard time, that just means that you need to keep adding more conditioner and water. That's going to help make it easier for you. It's going to soften the hair up. So detangle. Okay, it's a little difficult for me. Let me add some more water, conditioner, and then you just keep doing that. If your hair
Mhm.
super tangled, which it shouldn't be, then what I would do is like maybe just kind of separate it a little bit, and that'll help. And then go back to using the wide tooth comb.
Yeah. When I'm like trying to just quickly wash my hair, and by quickly I mean like 2 hours versus three, um, I will section my hair, and while it's literally under the water, I will use the water to help loosen the hair.
Yes. Yeah. So like depending on what your curl type is and how much hair you have, you just want to make sure you're doing what makes sense for your hair. Because everybody's hair is different, and I
Right.
realize that some people they might try to do something on their hair that someone else did and it's like, oh, it's not working. You have to do what makes sense for your hair because everybody's hair is so different. It could seem like it's the same, but it's
Mhm.
so different.
It is, and so I did like a quick video on my YouTube and Instagram where it's like me and one other person. We both have type 3C hair, but both of our hair is so different. And we talked about like why, like how our hair is so different, because I often hear like, well, I'm a 3C, I'm a 4B, but it's like, you guys, like there's so much more to your hair. So now when I talk about my hair, I tend to tell everyone like my whole profile. I'm like, it's medium porosity, it's low porosity, it's 3C, and it's got like 3B in the back, and it's like more like a little, it's looser in the middle, but it doesn't curl. It's like there's so much more to it.
Yes, there's a lot more to it. So much more to it. Like nobody has the same type of like it might look like the same kind of curl, but it's not going to be the same. I kind of feel like I look at hair kind of like a fingerprint, like everyone's is so different.
Yeah, but even every strand, I've noticed,
It's
is like a
different.
snowflake. Every single strand of your hair is completely different from the next, because it's like sometimes it curls great and some others don't. Sometimes it sticks straight.
Yes, so different. So
Yeah.
different. Another thing I want to bring up too, because again, the colder season, all these extra things that we would never think about. Like if you wear a scarf, a scarf is rubbing up against the back of your nape area, and
Hmm.
that will dry the hair out, especially for like very coily, kinky curls. That will dry the hair out and cause breakage. So what I would do is I would make sure to put maybe like a satin headband or some sort of protection or like extra leave-in conditioner back there just to make sure that the hair is not getting dried out because of the scar.
Yeah.
So
The back of my hair always gets knotted up more than the rest of my hair. And that's because it's always rubbing up against the collar.
yeah,
You're wearing a turtleneck, and that also causes the friction.
yes.
Yeah.
Little things that you would never think about. So I would make sure to put extra leave-in conditioner in that area. And I would probably maybe, like I said, use like I would, if you're using a hat too, I would just probably put the hat on just to protect the hair back there, a hat with like a satin lining. And then when you get to wherever you have to be, then you just take the hat off.
Yeah. So let's get to some more questions.
Yeah.
What do you think about hot oil treatment for moisture retention?
Mhm. So I think they can be helpful, but personally, I like to use it with the conditioner. Like I don't like to use it on its own because I feel like the conditioner has like special ingredients in it to help drive that moisture into the hair strand. So it's kind
Mhm.
of so I would do like a combo of like deep conditioning and hot oil treatment together
Mhm.
as opposed to just doing the hot oil treatment alone.
Yeah. I find it the same, where I don't use a straight up oil on my hair unless my hair is 100% dry because I found like it made my hair harder to absorb.
Yeah, yeah, because it coats the hair strand. So
Mhm.
oils are not going to hydrate the hair. It just helps to lock in the moisture. So I would definitely do it with the conditioner because you'll get a better, effective moisture hydration into the hair strand.
Right. So maybe like cocktail it, like put the oil in
Yeah.
the conditioner and then put it on your hair. And heat up your conditioner. Maybe that's something. So, okay, next. Hi. Hello. How may I try to add moisture to my hair while in braids? Do you suggest using a leave-in? Oh, yeah, we talked about this. So you said using a spray leave-in. And what is the best strategy to condition the hair after taking braids out from having them in for an extended time?
So it's pretty much what I said before. So first, you're gonna make sure you condition the hair after you took the braids out, and then you're gonna detangle to get that hair that naturally sheds to get it out. Then you're gonna wash your hair with the cleanser that makes sense for what your hair needs. And then you're going to deep condition. And you're going to let the deep conditioner sit for about 30 minutes. And you're going to make sure that before you let it sit for 30 minutes, that you really push that moisture in there. You don't want to do it after, because I think that sometimes we think like it's a deep conditioner. I'm just gonna put it in and then sit under the dryer and then that's it. You have to make sure there's enough water in there. So work it through, put the plastic cap, and then sit under a hooded dryer or use your bonnet or use like a heating cap.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can just put conditioner and not have your hair wet. It's just kind of not gonna get that moisture level the way you want it, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I've always been told to wash once a week. Should I retain myself to wash more often rather than wash once a week and moisturize with oil during the week to deal with the dryness?
So oils do not moisturize the hair. So you don't want to use oils for that. You want to, so it all, I don't know what her hair type is, like what her curl type is. But if you have like a curly, coily, or kinky hair type, then I would recommend to condition your hair twice a week and you're cleansing it once a week. So twice a week, because by like the third day, the hair tends to get drier for certain curl types. So you want to get that hair before it gets dried out. So twice a week, conditioning, and then once a week, cleansing.
Yes. And I think it's also like it has to make sense for your lifestyle as well, right? Like if I had my way, I would probably wash my hair every fourth or fifth day. But I'm too tired most of the time. I'm too lazy. I just don't have the time. And sometimes I try to wash my hair once a week, and sometimes I end up stretching it to 8, 9 days. So you have to also be aware of like what you can and cannot do. Like some of us just don't have the time to wash our hair. It takes me 2 hours on a good day. I kid you not.
Yeah.
And so it's like I don't have 2 hours that I want to spend on my hair. I just don't. So I wait longer than I should. Like you were saying, like, you shouldn't wait till your hair is fully dry. And I'm like,
Yeah, I get it though, because I mean, I get it. I have curly hair too. And trust me, sometimes I'm like, I do not want to wash my hair. Like,
yeah, I'm like,
but but if it all really depends on the curl type, because some curl types can get away with that. Like if you have like a softer, looser curl, you can probably get away with that. But for like someone with very coily or kinky hair, if they wait like let's say 2 weeks, it might be a lot more harder for them to do their
yeah.
day, and it might take a little longer. So it really just all depends on the curl type. So for someone who maybe they just don't really want to do their hair for like, let's say 2 weeks, I would probably do my hair. I would probably not commit to a wash and go, or I just wouldn't do a wash and go. Maybe I would do maybe a twist out, or
Right.
maybe I would blow my hair out with a lot of leave-in conditioner and do like a braid style, because then you could do like maybe 2 braids, or just like a nice simple updo. Because if you do that, then you can wear it for like up to a week, and you don't have to worry about your hair like shrinking, getting tangled. So I would probably do something like that. So just think about what you really have time for, because with the wash and go, depending on the curl type, it's like you really have to commit to it. For me, if I don't wash my hair for like,
Mhm.
if I only wash my hair once a week, by that 7th day, my hair is so tangled and I'm spending such a long time on wash day. So even if I don't want to, like, I still have to wash it by like the 5th day, let's say. So it
Yeah.
depends. It really just depends.
Yeah, it depends. Like, yeah, I find that I know if I'm lazy one week, I can't be lazy the next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it again, like one thing that like kind of like the theme of the summit is basically listen to your body, listen to your hair. Your hair is going to tell you what it needs. Like, so if you're finding that washing your hair once a week, and that's usually the rule of thumb for most of us, just because as someone, Meraki over at YouTube says, natural hair is a commitment. You ain't lying.
It
Um,
is.
if you thought it was going to be easier than relaxing your hair, it ain't.
Yeah, you have to be more involved, you have to do it.
Yeah. Right. So it's kind of like if you find that washing your hair once a week and your hair is good, then go for it. But if you're like, you know what, now that I've listened to Yesenia's talk and I'm like, wait, my hair does dry out after 3 days, but someone told me I have to wash it once a week. Maybe she's now giving you permission to wash your hair or at least wet it in between wash days, because that's something I also sometimes do. It's like, all right, my hair is dried out by day 5. I still have 2 more days. I gotta go out. I'll just spritz my hair with some water and just like diffuse it real quick, and I get it gets a little bit more hydration into it. But I know that all right, I can stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah, you have to have it has to make sense, like you shouldn't like inconvenience your life because of your hair. It has to make sense. For some people, maybe they really do have to do their hair twice a week, like condition twice a week. So maybe for you, maybe the person likes to do a wash and go, but they have to do it twice a week. So maybe like for some of my clients, I would suggest to them like, okay, maybe you can do like a wash and go that one day. And maybe the second time when you do your hair, you could do something that doesn't require a lot more time. Maybe you could just pull it back because you don't have time. Or maybe you can just do a twist out, let the twist sit in for a few days. You just have to make it make sense. Everybody's regimen is not going to be the same, but there are things that you will share in common, which is like, it needs moisture and you have to make sure you're pushing the moisture in there. You want to make sure you are consistent with your wash day routine. You want to make sure you're using products that really actually perform well and really leave your hair feeling soft and manageable. So important.
Yeah. So this is more of a comment, and I have a feeling I know who wrote this. So, hey, girl. But then I want you to share your thoughts. She says, "Hi, and thank you so much. Once I use products on my hair to keep it in a protective style, is it okay to only wet my hair with water or alone, or do I need to add more products on top of the old? I keep my hair braided using chibi. Did I pronounce that right? Chibi for 3 weeks. Chibi powder. I don't add any hair. My hair is gray, henna treated, 4B, 4AB, high porosity. By the way, I use Wonder Curl Butter and Jelly, which keeps my hair moisturized and beautifully underneath the chibi powder. Chibi powder is a hair powder that is used by the beautiful women of Chad, Africa, to grow their tight forehair to great lengths. I've been using it for 7 months now with Wonder Curl products. My hair has improved 100%. So thank you. I know who you are because this. But so the question was, when her hair is in braids, should she add more just water or should she add more water and product?
So I would say water and when product as like in conditioner.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like mixing it. So like for example, if you're using the sealing hair butter, maybe watering it down and using that as like your leave-in.
Yeah, I would, because the thing is that if you're putting like water on top of product and then more product, it's not really making a difference. I
Okay.
feel like, if you use the water with conditioner, then the conditioner helps to,
But it has to be a leave-in conditioner, right? Not a leave-in, not a rinse out.
so I would use a regular conditioner with the water because that is going to help the hair strand to raise the cuticle so that the moisture can get into the hair.
Okay, so you're saying you can water down a rinse out conditioner. So the conditioner you normally would rinse out, that's what you would use in
Exactly.
your spray bottle.
Yeah, but just a little bit. You're not using a lot, just a little bit. And then mix it up and then spray that in the hair. And then you can add your product.
Got it. Got it. So I think that is it for questions, you guys. This was such a great talk. And I feel like first we talked about scalp maintenance, then we talked about why your hair is dry, and now we're telling you how to keep it from being dry. I mean, guys, like, ooh, this was a great day for
Yeah.
hair.
Everybody's hair should be super healthy by, the end of 2020.
Right? I don't want to hear anybody saying my hair is dry. How can I get moisture into it? I'm just gonna say go to listen to Yessenia because she will tell you. Because I'm like I said, like how I used to style my hair before when it was colored is completely different now. But once I started, after listening to you, I would spray my hair down till it was saturated, sopping wet, and I hate sopping wet hair. But I was like, oh my gosh, my curls are so much fluffier and plumper. Like it made someone once said, like, oh, I used your products and it made my hair dry. I said, you didn't use enough water and you used too much product.
Exactly. If you're not using it properly, then you're not going to get the results. So
Yeah.
important. Also, don't towel blot. Make sure that you do not towel blot at any point during your wash day routine. I do want to say this before I forget. So like sometimes women say, "Oh, but this product doesn't work anymore. Like it's not doing what it used to do." So sometimes it could be because of the change in season. So I feel like a lot of women are probably going to notice that. Like they're going to notice that their products aren't working the same, and it's because now you need products that are more moisturizing, maybe something slightly heavier than your previous product. So make sure that with your like conditioners, make sure it's like a little heavier than your other conditioner. With your leave-in, make sure that it's like maybe a little more creamier than your other leave-in conditioner. Also with styling products, maybe for some people they like using the gels in the summertime, but maybe they find that in the winter it dries their hair out. So maybe you might want to use like a styling cream. So you might have to tweak your products to make sense for the season that we're stepping into. So important.
Yeah, exactly. I say the same thing. I say in the summer, because there's so much more humidity and moisture in the air, you need less of a moisturizer and more of a gel. Whereas in the winter, where the air is a lot drier, you want less of a gel and more of a moisturizer.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And my also rule of thumb is thicker hair, thicker products.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah. That's it. And don't be afraid, because some women ask me like, "Oh, am I using too much conditioner? Am I applying too much?" No. No, if your hair needs it, apply more conditioner. Like when I apply conditioner in the salon and in my own hair, I start off with like a whole big palm size amount, not a little bit, like just go
Yeah,
for
just go for it. Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you can't use too much because if you're gonna rinse it out anyway, it's not gonna stay. But you can under condition and not use enough and have. And I think the other thing is also, like you said, making sure that we rinse our hair properly, especially with conditioner, because it's like if you're not rinsing out all of your conditioner and then you apply a gel, that's how you get those little white balls in your hair. That's how you get flaking in the hair.
Yes, that's how you get all the things that you don't want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
make sure you rinse. Yeah, so important.
So let's see. Last question. What are your thoughts on using cellophane to help retain moisture and hair length for naturally high porosity hair? Now, do you mean cellophane as in like saran wrap to wrap your hair up? Or did you mean instead of cellophane, you meant silicone? What do you think?
So if she's talking about cellophane, like the saran wrap,
Like shrink wrap?
then yeah, like that's fine because that's like kind of like a plastic cap. It's just helping to, like uh, get that moisture in there, and
Yeah.
but I don't know about the other stuff.
Yeah. See, the eco-friendly side of me is like, cellophane. Why would you do that? Just buy a shower cap and reuse it. Save the planet,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, no, that's true though. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's gonna save you money. A cellophane hair product, like the colors are clear.
Oh,
Like
I know what she's talking about. She's talking about Sebastian. Yeah.
okay. See, there you go. Thank you for
Yeah.
the clarification. Go ahead.
She's asking if that is going to help to keep the hair moisturized.
Yeah.
Oh, no, no. No, that's just like, think of it as like a clear nail polish. And it just helps to, make the hair look a little shinier. But that's not a conditioning treatment. That's not, it's just really for shine.
Mm,
So, like, if she uses that, she would still want to do a deep conditioning treatment.
right.
And, like before she would do the cellophane and then do the deep conditioning treatment.
Yeah. Is it something that like smooths the cuticle down to give you that shiny look?
Yes, but it's kind of like, because they have different colors. They have like red, brown. So it's just really like a semi-permanent color.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Got it. So, all right. Well, that is the last question for the day. We are over, but that's okay because this was our last talk of the evening. So, thank you so much, texturologist. So, for folks who want to get in touch with you, how can they find you?
Yeah, so they can reach out to me on my Instagram, the texturologist, or they can visit my website, which is also thetexturologist.com. And I pretty much respond to all the DMs that I get. So if you have any questions, you can reach out and I'll respond.
Yep. And also, guys, if you are on the Hey Summit, the Summit website, you can always click on the speaker page and it'll take you directly to her Instagram and also her website.
Yeah.
If you are tuning in from YouTube, then just go to summit.healthyhairsummit.com. So thank you so much for blessing us with your time and your knowledge. I mean, I think if someone was to write a book on moisturizing hair, it should be you.
I'm going to think about that. 2021 goals, maybe. Let's see.
Or at least the ebook on how to keep your hair moisturized. Because you know what? I thought I knew everything, and I'm like, nope. You still need to learn, girl. You still need to learn. So,
thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Oh, it's always a pleasure having you. So, and you will be on again. Seriously.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Bye.
All right, guys. So this was the last chat of the day. I hope you all enjoyed everything that we had. So do you do expos? I don't. Well, I started doing the virtual summit because of the pandemic, and now it's just something that I enjoy doing, and I'm going to continue doing it. So if you just heard about this today, we do have two multi-day hair summits that I've already done, one in April and one I just did in September. And so each of those were, the April summit was for 2 days, and we had 5 speakers, yes. And then the one in September, which was a few weeks ago, we had 11 speakers. And the reason why I did today was because I had to reschedule a couple of talks. And then I decided to add Yessenia because I thought if we're going to talk about dry hair, we need to include moisturizers. If I do expos as far as physical events, maybe in 2021, I might think about it, but I definitely am going to continue doing the virtual summits because you can tune in from anywhere in the world and I get to keep it free. And if it's free, it's for me. But you guys, if you have found this information, like if you like this, if you thought, wow, this information was so great, then you can become a member. I'm calling it the Healthy Hair Gang. Be a part of the gang. You want your healthy hair, so you can be a part of that for only $24. You get 20% off the regular $30 price, but you will get lifetime access to all of these talks. So these 3 talks that we just held today, you're also going to get access to all of the talks from the April summit and all of the talks from the fall summit. And that, you guys, like there was so much information in those other 2 summits. So if you thought these 3 summits were like gave you so much education, you need to check out. So right now the replays are still available from September, but they will be going away tomorrow. And though the only way that you'll be able to access them again is going to be through the membership site. So you can head over to healthyhairsummit.com. The coupon code is right on the home page so that you can get your 20% off. And it's going to be only $24. So you're going to get all of the talks and you're going to get the Healthy Hair Workbook that gives you a lot more insights and tips and somewhere you can fill out your information. And I am so excited. I haven't told anybody this, but I'm so close and the holidays are coming. But I am also coming out with a healthy hair planner. So it's going to be an entire year for you guys to start tracking what you're using in your hair, what works, what doesn't work, how you're applying the products. But it's not just going to be about products, because you know me, I'm like, you guys, if your body is struggling, your hair is going to be struggling. So we're also going to share a place for you to have your mindful minutes and also to track your daily exercise. So stay tuned for that. And if you want to be a part of the Healthy Hair Gang, go on to healthyhairsummit.com and get your 20% off right now. Thank you guys. I am so glad you found this information useful, loved all the experts, and you know what? I love you guys for tuning in. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and thank you so much for spending a part of it with us. Bye.